Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Ariel with Blessed with Motherhood. So in today's video, I want to share what I have planned for kindergarten. I feel like my mind is moving 1,000 miles a minute, and there's things I know I'm forgetting. I'm trying to remember all the things I did with my oldest, and luckily I did document them, but I still feel like there's stuff missing. So I'm going to share my plans, and then I'll probably make an updated video in a few weeks if we change anything or add anything. Let's dive into what I have planned for the kindergarten year for my second. Now, this is my second time doing kinder, so it's really exciting to do some of the same things as well as do some different things that I know are going to be way better. I wish I had done the first time was hit phonics pretty heavily. So I have this, and I'll explain why. So this is Foundational Phonics Letter Mastery Book 1. I saw this from another YouTuber, and they had shared inside of it, and it really looked exactly what I was looking for the first time around I did kindergarten. Now, it's important to know you don't have to push your child to read, but my second is just like my first. She is book obsessed and really wants to be able to read. And now that she is the second one, it's even more so than the first time around that she's begging me to teach her to read. And we've been so informal that I have to say I was really sick the whole pregnancy with her last year during preschool that we didn't even do like letter sounds or anything that much. We did occasionally, but I kind of just focused on my oldest because that's all I had the bandwidth for. So I do feel a little bit mom guilt of not giving my second the preschool experience that her older sister had. But had I not been sick and had everything just been like peachy keen, I think it still wouldn't have been the same experience as my oldest, because I think that's every mom. When you have just one child or your oldest and you're focusing on them, you can just give a lot more than if you have another toddler in tow. So I am going to try and incorporate some stuff that I wish we had done or completed in preschool, but I am going to also try to focus on kindergarten stuff too. So the peaceful preschool, I might add that into our day because I really loved that. That was such a fun one. I had planned on doing with the Peaceful Press their kindergarten program, but when I looked at it, it was $60, and it's just, I debated for so long whether I wanted to do that or not. And you're going to hear children screaming in the background because my other three are playing Barbies, and apparently that involves lots of screaming. So I really liked the Peaceful Press with preschool, but I was really debating whether or not to do the kindergarten. And sometimes I feel like there are so many things in the preschool one that I kind of skip around. And I had done for kindergarten the Playful Pioneers, and I felt that was really good as an oldest kind of thing. But had I done it a second time, which I am now, I realize it's a little bit too much for kindergarten. It was great at the time, but I wanted something different. So I was thinking about their actual kindergarten curriculum, but then I had found two things that were on super sale. One was this phonics thing, as well as A Year Without Learning, which I had been watching for years, but it was out of my budget. And she is having she had, I'm sad to say you've already missed the sale, but she had like a going out of business sale, and I was able to get all her stuff for, I don't know, it was like $50 or under. So, and usually like just one of her things is more than that. So I jumped at the chance. I decided not to get the kindergarten curriculum because I had budget for one thing. So I had the budget for that as well as the foundational phonics. And so with my first, I have dyslexia, she has dyslexia, and the key to teaching reading, I think, is really hitting the foundation heavy, like really making sure you have a solid foundation of how to sound out words. Phonics. You know, they are really, I feel like people with dyslexia are really good at memorizing things, and that was the case for me. So it's easy to think that they know how to read because they're memorizing things that you go over and over and over again. But how to test that out real fast is to kind of jump around pages and see if they've actually had it memorized. That would happen. She would read Frog and Toad flawlessly, and then I would jump around pages, and then I realized, oh no. So we ended up, her year one, I actually ended up going, like, just scrapping every like thing we were doing with reading and just going back with foundational phonics, or just like not the actual curriculum, just like building a foundation for our phonics. And we ended up, it was such a last minute thing, and it was in the middle of the year that I did the good and the beautiful. Oh, minor squabble that I had to referee. So I ended up using the good and the beautiful because it was the middle of the year, last minute thing. I was scrambling looking for like a really good phonics program that was basically free, and that's what the good and the beautiful was. Like, they're actual readers, and there's some parts of it that weren't free, but just like the like workbook pages kind of telling you what to do, those were free. The main part of their curriculum for reading, the phonics curriculum, I don't even know if it's like year or if it's like first grade, but that's what we ended up doing, and that was good, um, for like a last minute free thing. But I did feel I had to do a lot of like my like own, like adding things in and skipping over a bunch of stuff, and that's kind of how I always feel with the good and the beautiful curriculums. Lots of people love it, so this isn't saying you wouldn't love it. It's just I skip over and add in so many things that I'm like, I should find something else where I'm not doing this because it just doesn't fit my teaching style. But I love that it's free, because that can just make the difference between if you can homeschool or not, if you can find free curriculum. So this year I found exactly what I was looking for, which is Foundational Phonics Letter Mastery, and there's book one. I think there's a second book two. I'm debating whether we'll do that or not. We're gonna try this out and see. I mean, watching a YouTube flip through of it, it looked exactly what I was looking for, where you focus on one letter. And that was a big thing, is I kind of don't want to focus on letter names. I do want to teach her the letter names, but it's going to be mostly the sounds for that reading practice and sounding it out, because that is going to be something we'll struggle with unless we have a really solid foundation of that. So foundational phonics is going to be what we start with reading. You're going to I'll share, just I'm going to flip the camera around so it's a little bit easier, but I just love the, like, you're kind of learning how to write the letter. This is like the only time you're really writing stuff. And I love her house analogy, like upstairs, downstairs, basement. I really wish I had found this with my oldest, because she had struggled with that with handwriting too. So I might even just kind of help her remember and print out more of these. I bought the PDF, and it took forever for me to print out because my printer is not front and back printer. I had to collate everything and do it by hand, like one page at a time, and flip it to get it double sided. So that was like a couple weekends, and this is probably why it took so long to get this video. But you focus on a letter, and they just do fun stuff, and it's very much like the reading program I had chosen, which I'll show, because we're going to also be doing that this year after we do this. And then I might decide on book two, and then if I don't decide on book two, we'll move forward with 100 gentle lessons in sight and sound. So foundational phonics letter mastery, book one. So this, again, I printed this out double-sided, and it's going to take you a long time if your printer does not print out double-sided, but definitely worth it. So I'll show deeper into all of these, but this is just like a quick look through. So you'll come here and circle the letters you've mastered, and chapter 2 starts with A, so you're going to start with M in chapter 1. And we haven't done much yet, but it's very easy and simple. I really like in the very beginning, she talks about, let's see if I can turn the pages one-handed. She talks about how to use this book as well as like ear training and tongue training. I think this is great for speech impediments, listening, habit of attention, all of that. It definitely feels very Charlotte Mason in a way. Um, so you can also practice holding a pencil, but that is also, if you want to do that, we do the writing portions, but less focused on that and more sounds. So you get to see how you look making the sound, very sound focused, which is exactly what I was looking for, you know, m sound. And then you get to do this kind of mouth gymnastics each letter. It's kind of cool, and you get to learn sign language, which I think is an added bonus. And so we are going to do this, but I had to pull all of these, and so we're going to come back and I'm going to have her draw one of the stories because I didn't get a chance last week to do this because we were doing Vacation Bible School. But so you get to read all of these or whichever ones you have or want to read. You could read one, you could read all of them. Then you have the kid do the like a drawing the, and then just kind of you're going to read books that coincide with the M sound, the letter M. And so there's just like the writing is really cool. I like the analogy of the upstairs, downstairs, and basement. I think that's really helpful. And it's just such a cool curriculum. It's very like it's when you see this, it's gonna feel exactly the same. Very like McGuffey reader style, old school illustrations. So I really like this. This is gonna be great for letter mastering letter sounds. And she's got the same first name as me, so added points there. I have levels 1 and 2 of this, used it, loved it. Just book 1 assumes you already know phonics. You kind of need to have that foundation already. And she does now have, I think, a preschool one that might do phonics, but that came out after my oldest was able to read. And so I wasn't sure if I wanted to get that or not. And when I found the foundational phonics, that was exactly what I was looking for. So I didn't try to risk getting anything else. I just got that. But after she masters book 1, and possibly we'll get book 2, let's see. She's going to do these, and this is going to be great reading practice. And I'll flip through with this as well. And then 100 gentle lessons in sight and sound. So after we master this, we're going to go into these, and I have level 1 and 2, but I'll give you a peek into level 1 until I do the flip through. I have a flip through on Instagram, but YouTube is much better for flip throughs, so I'm going to refilm that. But this is definitely consumable, but I made it not consumable because I did not buy the PDF. I actually bought the physical book, but I didn't want to keep buying it every year, so I had these laminated, and then I put Velcro like stickers on it so that we could change it up. And it comes with like a whole bunch of like these kind of things, like vocabulary cards and these things that it took forever to cut out, that I was just happy to make this non-consumable. So you're going to start out with like, you're going to start in the very beginning. Let's see if we can go to level 1. It's always tricky to do this one-handed. Okay. My baby carrier has gotten caught. Okay, I'm gonna just start very simply, and I have the Montessori letters that they come with letter tiles, but I have like the actual Montessori letters. Let me go get those. Okay, so I have this, which is amazing. This is one of my favorite learning tools. So I have the pad that goes with it, but there's these kind of Montessori letters. And so the reason why they're different colors is because the consonants are going to be red and the vowels are going to be blue. So kind of the opposite of this, but that's okay. At least they're still different. So it's pretty nice to use alongside of this. And so I'll just give you a quick flip through. I have like all the pieces, but yeah, this is a great next step after this. I loved these. And then I don't know, some preschool stuff that I wish we had got to more was this pretend soup cookbook. It is this just the sweetest like preschool cookbook. That's one of the things I really want my daughters to all have a solid grasp on is I love baking with them, I love cooking with them, but I also want them to love it and just know all these skills. I have non-sharp like Montessori knives to, master cutting things up before they're ready for the sharp knives. So I was starting to do this last year, but then being so sick, I didn't even want to look at half the food that was in here, let alone make it. So I'm going to add that in. And then, the cookbooks. These are really cute. I'll show you a flip through on this. So I love the picture instructions for recipes as well as just the regular recipes. So the preschooler can totally help out and really get an idea of what to do. And then this one has kind of the same style, beautiful illustrations and just some great recipe ideas. I have like a million readers, and I'll share more about those once we get there. But the McGuffey's primer, I have that. It's so sweet. And the Free and Treadwell primer. Okay, I couldn't do it one-handed, so it's going to look like this. And these are like old school readers that they used in like one-room schoolhouses, and I just love these. I have almost all of them, but the primer is going to be once we start really kind of learning to read. And then the Free and Treadwell, I also love these, but they don't go as high as the other readers that I have, the McGuffey's, as well as like the Pathway readers. These stop at like 3rd or 4th grade, but maybe even 5th grade, but not as high as the rest. But this is the primer. So it's going to look like this. This is going to be when you're reading a little bit more. As well as I have Handicrafts for her. Let me grab. And you're going to see me share a bunch of wood stuff and chalkboard stuff. It's not something that I highly recommend. It's one of those things that I fell into the trap of Instagram and everything looking pretty. And now you'll see me use them all the time because I bought them. But you kind of have to know the kind of person you are and whether or not you're going to use this kind of stuff or not. A lot of it's really helpful. It's just it's kind of the Instagram trap. My first year of homeschooling, you saw all these like cultivated, like perfect pictures. This was before Reels and all the other stuff with Instagram. Instagram used to be like pictures and perfect, and that was what it was about. And I did fall prey to thinking that like the wood boards and all the wood stuff would really change our homeschool and make it just amazing. And it does make it really pretty and for Instagram. So I try to use it because I have it. I don't want to sell it because I do think that they can be useful. It's just I realize you have to, before you buy anything, really think about you as a person. Will you use this a lot, or is it going to be like pretty decorations on your shelf? And if you're okay with pretty decorations on your shelf, there's nothing wrong with that. But just not to mislead anyone into thinking that they need these things. But this is actually pretty cool. This would probably be the only one I'm like, this is actually way worth it. I didn't even use it like my first couple years when we bought it because I didn't know how cool it was. And then I saw somebody using it and I found their free stitch guide. So I'm going to use this with my 5-year-old. It's you can buy this and then download this free guide from Treasures from Jennifer. She also has one that's like more stitches and more like ideas that you can buy a PDF of. And I might do that because it's kind of cool. But this free one is really nice. It just teaches basic stitching, and they can do it again and again with like yarn and one of those kind of bigger needles that like don't hurt you, like the plastic ones. So you have your wood block for the stitch, the sewing board. And so it's got a bunch of stitches and how to do them. Very simple, and you can just keep practicing over and over again. So she's going to be doing handicrafts. It's going to be like her learning all the basic stitches. My oldest does going to do a bunch of other handicrafts, but for my 5-year-old, she's going to start with the basics, and then I'm going to hopefully get her into what my oldest is doing. They can do stuff together on different levels. So I don't have anything printed out from A Year of Tales, but it's all PDF. I have like all her things. And one of the things that I wanted to do is go through the Winnie the Pooh books, at least most of them. I think I save a couple for when they're 6. Like now we're 6. That book has to be read when you're 6. But the Winnie the Pooh tales, I loved going through it with my oldest, and I will be doing that. And then A Year Without, or no, A Year with Tales, A Year in Tales. And now I'm trying to remember what it's actually called. I probably said A Year Without Tales, but A Year with Tales. She has like a Winnie the Pooh kind of study, and I thought that was so sweet. So we'll be doing her thing with Winnie the Pooh. I love reading Winnie the Pooh. So having it be like something we do in kindergarten is so special. And I'm going to be using The Year of Tales with this, but I haven't printed it out yet, so I'll share more about that. I also have Kindergarten Math with Confidence. This is the teacher guide, and you absolutely need it. It is, most of the curriculum is right here in this teacher guide. Luckily, the teacher guide is non-consumable, so that one's the expensive one and will take most of the time. The consumable one is the student workbook. It's significantly cheaper, and so that's kind of nice if you plan on doing it with more than one kiddo. You just have to buy this one each time you do it with a different kiddo. But the workbook pages are very short and simple. You just do like one workbook page a day, maybe like 4 times a week if you want. And this instructor guide I'll show in a little bit inside, but this instructor guide is the majority of what you're doing, and it's pretty gentle, and I like it. With Math with Confidence, here is the instructor's guide, teacher's guide. And so let's go to the very beginning. We're only week 2 in, so it's been pretty cool so far. So it basically tells you what to do in the beginning and how, like, what you'll need and all this stuff. And we have a lot of it already from just having homeschooled for several years now. Do some units. This is numbers 1 through 10, unit 1. And so it does it about 4 days a week, and they're very simple lessons. You can kind of choose what you want to do. I really like the math book of the week. That section is always really fun. And so this is the week layout as well as each unit, and they're very simple. They're really quick to get through, and so there's just a little bit of writing, which is nice. And then it's going to coincide with the workbook, which is significantly smaller, and basically all the workbook is just this, and it's very just gentle, practice writing 1, which we talked about here, and then you're just going to circle the ones, and same thing. So it's designed for 4 days a week, and it's nice. So then, you'd go to here, number 3, number 4, very easy. And then there's even an answer key. So then on to week 2. So that's Math with Confidence. The first time around I had done The Good and the Beautiful, and I actually liked their kindergarten math. It was fine. But then just when we got to first grade, it was just so much review. It's a spiral. So it's just so much review, and we just had to skip over so much that it was just like, if I'm skipping over so much, this is not great. But she was also not really, it's odd, but she would get bored with the reviews, but then also have trouble retaining new things. So we went with Beast Academy, and even though that's really logic heavy and hard, it somehow worked for us, and as well as the Simply Charlotte Mason. So, and just to add like more cooking stuff, but the My Little House cookbook too. I loved reading the Little House books with my oldest when she was in kindergarten. I started, and then we finished the whole series when she was at like end of first grade. So it took about 2 years to get through it, as well as like do other books. We didn't just do that series. We kind of took breaks, especially like some books got really intense, like The Long Winter. is so good, but so intense. So just, I have the picture books of these, and just doing like Little House on the Prairie or Little House stuff would be really fun because I enjoy that series so much. So first time around, I did Handwriting Without Tears with my oldest, and I ended up thrifting this for $1.29. But I ended up thrifting this a few years ago with the intent that I was going to use this the second time around as well. But I did not love it with my first. It says Handwriting Without Tears, and there were very much tears. So I I found something better for handwriting, and we kind of just did like copy work in a sense, but it would be like just like a page of A's and how to do them, and just kind of making my own. I'm still kind of searching to see if I can find something that I like better. The foundational phonics actually has like a better way to do it, but since I thrifted this and I have it, I'm gonna give it a try with my second. I don't really want to jump in just yet, just because I want her to have a good solid foundation of letter name or letter sounds before names. So we're gonna start this, but probably a little bit later into the year, and I'll see if hopefully it's Handwriting Without Tears for her. This one is, I'm kind of wary of. It's not so bad. It's just I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it's just either not enough practice or just, I don't know. I like that it starts out like this, and we did this, and that was fine. Once it started getting to the letters, I realized we have to put a pause on it because I wanted to focus on the letter sounds rather than the name. I have laying down the rails. Now, this is the children's one book too. I don't even know where my guide is or the first one is. I misplaced them recently. I think I packed them away accidentally, so I have to go find them. But I plan on doing laying down the rails with my girls again. It'll be a nice review for my oldest because I enjoyed doing it with her, and then it'll be kind of a good focused habit to do with my second and third. And then I always have exploring nature with children. I have all four. I don't know where Summer is right now. Maybe it's in the morning basket, but I like to follow along with the free calendar, and then I have had this curriculum for since the beginning of homeschooling. It was like one of the first curriculums I bought, and we did, and I really like it. It's kind of just make it your own. She has great ideas for crafts and stuff. So if you are searching for like a nature study and you don't have anything else, it's a really great place to springboard and start. Quick flip through of this. See, it's very basic. There's no like art or anything like that. It's just themes and ideas. So this is great if you don't need all the like eye candy of a lot of curriculums, and just simple ideas, simple themes. And she has a free calendar too, so you can even just follow along with the free calendar if you don't want to buy the full curriculum. I do have a treehouse, schoolhouse, nature study as well, but those are just a lot more. So I pull from those, but I feel like if my plate is really full, then exploring nature with children is the way to go. I feel like we did our most consistent nature study with that, where it just was a certain theme each week, and we would go and do it. Although I really like Ambleside Online's nature study, which we will still be doing, but they focus on one thing, one subject of nature study for an entire term, for an entire 12 weeks. So I really like that pace. Or even, focus on something for 1 month. So every week is a little bit too quick of a turnaround, but it's also kind of fun. But I would say one thing a month is probably the best pace, or one thing every 3 months, which Ambleside Online or Charlotte Mason curriculums usually do. The thing I really liked doing the first time around was these William J. Bennett books. I don't think we have all of them. I had to check out some from the library, but are really great to read with your kindergartner or even older kids, younger kids, just read with everybody. But I really especially like doing these in kindergarten. It really brings me back to the first time. But I had also purchased these Dash into Reading books. Now this is Dash into Learning is the company, but I purchased the whole program for like a Christmas present for my oldest because she was really into wanting to learn to read. And these are the cutest. So I keep them in this little organized folder. I have to reprint out a lot of stuff because she just updated a ton and gave it to anyone who had already been a customer who had bought each unit, and I had bought all three. Yes, because one of my kiddos got into it. So this is a great organizer as long as you keep it up from toddlers. So we have book one, set one. There's 3 sets, and by set 3, they're reading, and I'm going to turn it around and show you, but by set 3, they're reading almost like chapter books. But in the very, very beginning, it's just I am fan, and there's a brief thing of teaching letter blending. So this is another one where I love these. I think I didn't like them at first because I didn't realize we, for dyslexia, had to have a really solid foundation in phonics, and not blending phonics, but like single letter phonics at a time, which you kind of learn here, but we needed more. And after that, I love these. These are so cool. And I love the heart behind how she made these. And they do work with dyslexia. But if you're dyslexic teaching a dyslexic child, then you need to have that child have solid foundation of phonics, because then it'll go so much smoother. So she's got a bunch of these. So I think there's 4 books each set, or maybe a little bit more actually. No, there's more than 4 books. There's 9 or 10 books maybe. So it's been a few years. Let me double check that. But I got the full set, which means they come out with all these like cute little like add-on printable stuff that you can do. So like, I don't want to say worksheets, but like stuff that adds to the story, because you're going to read the story over and over again all week or 2 weeks or however long it takes your kiddo to master it. I would read it until my child could read it without memorizing it, but also without making more than just like a handful of mistakes, like under 5. But they have all these cute little worksheets that go with each book. And so I'm going to be reprinting them because I tried to save them thinking that I wouldn't have to reprint them, but they're consumable, so it's okay to reprint them. That's why I got the PDF. I am big into PDFs because then I can use it for multiple children, although it is more work on my part. But yeah, I loved all her little worksheets that go with it. I mean, at one point you cut out like a pirate hat and you play this pirate game searching for the words. It's very cute. So I have to reorganize all of these. And so here is the dash into learning. So it's not just, I really liked the like girl one, but it's not just girls. There's boys, brothers, sisters, moms and dads. There's a parent guide for each set. So there's parent guides, and they talk to you about how to use these books and great ideas. But here is book 1. And so you're going to start out very simply. You can also use the blending. So you'll start out with this blending, and we have stickers, which I did not think through the first time around. So I'll just pretend the stickers have always been there. But you start out very simply, and it's beautiful illustrations. And they have all those extras that you can add on to. I'll make a better just like look through of these, but this is just like a quick flip through of these. So like this is almost the last book. This is the last book, but just kind of look, and you're almost reading like beginner early chapter books. So not every, so there's more words infrequently, like not a picture on every single page. So that's kind of nice. And then more of these blending words. So this one was really special because I had 3 girls, and she has 4 girls as well. So it's kind of fun having a fellow Marmy mom make these curriculums who's also using Ambleside Online. So her stuff pairs really well with Charlotte Mason. She has a heart for learning disabilities and learning differences and all that stuff. So I really like her program, and I think her books are really fun, and I can't wait to dive into them with my second. And then I will move into the early readers like Frog and Toad and Little Bear. Those are so fun too. But I'll share more about that once we get to that point and I start pulling them all out again. Although Frog and Toad and Little Bear are always in our home library, but like a lot of the other ones like Henry and Mudge we love, but there's so many that we have that we kind of pack them away. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for a lot more. I have so many things planned. As long as we just film it during nap time, this little baby seems pretty content to just be baby worn. So that's awesome. But thank you for watching, and I'm so glad that you're here. Let me know in the comments what you're doing for kindergarten, or if you found this helpful, or if you have any questions. I can always do more thorough flip throughs, but for now, I will see you in the next video.